Madam Web is out, and to the shock of absolutely no one, it's complete dog shit.
No way! No way!
We all knew it was going to be terrible going in, and we didn't need Madam Web's future sight to see it, but fuck me, I underestimated just how much this film was going to be shit, and get the most basic of stuff wrong. I mean, it fails at everything you can think of. The characters suck ass, the story is cat shit, the dialogue sounds like ear rape, the editing is piss poor, and worst of all, this movie is unbelievably boring to watch. It feels like it was written by an AI, and a retarded one at that. There is no point in going to see this film as it offers nothing. It's so stupid and poorly written that it gives you a headache trying to sit through it. Why does this movie even exist? No one wanted this and no one asked for it, but Sony hasn't given a shit as to what the fans want for a long time. They seem to be more than fine with pumping out god-awful movies that nobody enjoys. Madam Web has a budget of $80 million, 20 more than the Joker, and yet everything looks terrible. I mean, look at these costumes. They look like cheap Halloween knockoffs, not suits you would find in an $80 million movie. The only good thing I can say about this is seeing the actresses at the premiere. Mama! Uncle Ben is only in the story to try and give this some connection to Spider-Man, but who gives a shit? He ends up doing fuck all, like everyone else in the cast. So let's not waste any more time on this horse shit than we have to, and break down the plot. It begins with Cassie's heavily pregnant mother and her research partner Ezekiel exploring the Amazon as they are looking for magic spiders that can cure her baby. But it turns out very quickly that Ezekiel is evil, and so he shoots the research team, including Cassie's mum, before running away with the spider. But before she dies, a bunch of fucking random spider people come out of nowhere and help her deliver the baby.
What the fuck am I watching?
Well, it sure is lucky for Cassie's mother that these spider people help out strangers in need and don't just eat them, you know, like every other backwards savage tribe would in the Amazon. Cassie's mother dies and she is left all alone with the weirdos before we flash forward to the present where she's back in America and is an ambulance driver.
What?
Are they trying to tell us that one of those spider people took Cassie to an American embassy with her mother's papers and arranged for her to get home? Because that's fucking retarded. In the present, Cassie is an ambulance driver alongside Uncle Ben, and after a near-death experience, Cassie gets mentally transported to some sort of web dimension where she starts to see the future. Meanwhile, Ezekiel is having constant nightmares of 3 badly dressed spider women killing him every night, so he wants to kill them first, and to do so he uses some bullshit computer tech to be able to guess who the girls are in his dreams and where to find them.
Right.
We cut back to Cassie as she goes to a baby shower for Uncle Ben's sister, and we have a very obvious ad placement for Pepsi. Someone's got to pay for the movie, and it sure as shit ain't gonna be the audience. She then decides to go for a train ride for no reason, and it's here where she ends up meeting the 3 other girls Ezekiel is after. She has a vision of them dying, so she gets them off the train before Ezekiel shows up. We then see him crawling on the roof of the station in plain sight, and yet no one else seems to be able to notice him other than these 4.
Christ, who wrote this?
Ezekiel chases them through the subway and murders a bunch of police officers in a god-awful chase scene, and the girls, who are running away very slowly, manage to escape by stealing a taxi from the stupidest driver ever.
Well, that's just silly. Silly, yes. Idiotic, yes.
Cassie turns on the radio and already she is being blamed for killing the police. How the fuck does the local station already know about the attack when it's only happened 2 minutes ago?
I don't know.
With nowhere to go, Cassie drives them to the woods, and they have a painfully boring conversation until Cassie finally decides to leave all 3 of them in the middle of nowhere, all so that she can fuck off back home to read her mother's diary. But despite saying that she will be gone for no more than 3 hours, it seems to have taken her much longer to read the book, as when she returns to the woods, it's already nighttime and all the girls are staying at a nearby diner. Before this, however, something retarded happens. So the train incident they were involved in only happened a few hours ago, and yet somehow a guy at the diner is already reading a newspaper about the incident that has all 3 girls on it. How the fuck is he reading a newspaper about the train attack that just happened?
I don't know.
Well, the real answer is because the writing is shit. Anyway, he calls the police, to which Ezekiel intercepts and is now aware of their location. He shows up to kill them but is run over by Cass as they get away. We have yet another boring conversation where we learn about the characters' mothers.
Oh my god, who the hell cares?
Afterwards, Cassie has some sort of psychic conversation with Ezekiel, which amounts to jack shit, before teaching the three girls how to do CPR, as she believes that will somehow help counteract Ezekiel's nerve toxin. I'm no doctor, but even I know that's bullshit. Chest compressions aren't going to save you if you've been injected with a lethal dose of venom. That's retarded. Anyway, Cassie leaves the girls behind at Uncle Ben's house before travelling all the way to South America in order to meet the tribe of spider people. Using nothing more than her mother's outdated photographs, Cassie is somehow able to navigate through the Amazon rainforest and easily finds her mother's old camp.
That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Need I remind everyone that the Amazon is fucking massive? This would take weeks to get through, and look how clean her clothes are. She should look tired and dirty after having trekked hundreds of miles through a dense forest, and yet she looks perfectly fine. None of this makes any sense, but it only gets worse from here. A spider dude then appears as he was waiting for her to return, but he is not wearing the weird tribal outfit he was in the beginning. No, he's wearing perfectly clean white clothes.
Why?
Anyway, he helps Cassie develop her powers, and she flies all the way back to America in less than a day. We cut to Mary Parker, who is going into labour, and all five of them go to the hospital together, which is stupid because Uncle Ben is supposed to be hiding these girls, and if he simply left them behind, then they would not have been detected by Ezekiel's secret camera network.
Oh, how convenient!
Ezekiel eventually stops their car and is about to kill everyone until Cassie drives through the second floor of a nearby car park and rams into Ezekiel. But watch this, he is standing on their car, so there is no way for Cassie not to crush all five of them from the angle she is coming at. So to avoid this, the ambulance has to go right over the car, but the problem then is that she will miss Ezekiel. So to solve that problem, the director has Ezekiel jump off the car for no other reason than for him to purposefully get hit by the ambulance. That's twice now Cassie has hit Ezekiel with the car, and he is supposed to be able to see the future.
What an idiot!
So he chases them across the city and into a building that just so happens to be full of explosives.
Well, isn't that convenient?
So they lure him into the building and blow it up in a god-fucking awful action scene. But what's funny about this is when Cassie goes Super Karen and unleashes her powers, but all she ends up doing is telling the girls that they are doing fine before being punched so hard that she flies backwards. Seriously, what was the fucking point in having her do this, and why aren't her ribs shattered? Ezekiel, despite being super strong, is somehow pinned by a bunch of metal before eventually getting crushed by a giant neon letter. Cassie falls into the water and is hit by one of those bullshit rockets which makes her blind. The film ends with Cassie seeing all four of them in the future wearing terrible costumes and being Spider-Women, which I highly doubt is going to happen considering the box office numbers. And that was Madam Web.
That was awful.
This movie should not have been made and will be forgotten by next week. Sony really needs to kill the Venomverse because all of their movies suck ass. The next one after this is Craven, and honestly, does anyone expect that to be better than this?
How about no?
Sony will learn nothing from this failure and will continue to pump out dog shit because they simply do not give a fuck. Anyway, that was Madam Web.
It's a piece of shit.